In this video, I'm looking at the progress I've made in the Lord of the Rings card game. Hello AOS fans, Robin here. So this is a little 1 month anniversary of my foray back into Middle Earth and the living card game. I do wish it wasn't called the Lord of the Rings living card game. I just call it the Lord of the Rings, that's a bit ambiguous. A living card game is ambiguous, and so you kind of have to say Lord of the Rings living card game, which is a bit of a mouthful. Anyway, or LOTRLCG, which is all a bit of a mouthful. Maybe there's a nifty way to refer to it, which I'm not aware of, as I've only been playing for a month. Yes, so I'm looking at a month of play in the Lord of the Rings card game. Now this is a bit of a cheat video because I had fully intended to record the next adventures. I've done the first adventure, which I failed and passed, and I was going to record the next one, Journey Down the Anduin. I've done loads of practice games and I came to record it and I failed, and it's school holidays here and it's been my birthday, so I've been really busy, so I haven't had time to get back to it, but I really want to keep up a schedule of one video a week if I can. I didn't want to miss it sort of third week in, so I'm recording this as a sort of where am I at, what do I think of the game, why I think you should play it or why I think you might not like it. So it's just where I am a month in. Now Frodo, about a month in, was recovering in Rivendell after Elrond had removed the bits of the Morgul blade. I sort of feel a little bit like that. This game can be absolutely brutal. So that brutality is something I've had to get used to. You can be going along swimmingly, everything going very well, and just things suddenly spiral out of control. Maybe that's because I don't have a very good card pool, maybe it's because I don't have a good understanding of how the game, and I know controlling the board is really important, and maybe I'm just literally flying by the seat of my pants every turn, and sort of one bad card draw away from disaster. It does feel a bit like that sometimes. What I have found is this game is incredibly deep. So quickly reflect on what I've got so far. I haven't really bothered too much with the legacy stuff. I know there's masses and masses of content out there, but some of it's hard to find, some of it's easier to find. I've basically been trying to go along with the new releases. So far I have the new revised core set. I have now got, because it was my birthday, I have now got all 4 of the character packs that they brought out, but I've only played with Rohan so far, which I actually got a little bit before my birthday, but I've now got Gondor, Elves and Dwarves. So I'm quite looking forward to playing those, although already that almost feels like, whoa, you know, that's already loads of content. I know that is like historic content repackaged, but it just feels like, you know, I'm literally just at the moment trying to get to grips with Rohan and then to get to grips with those other guys, which I know differing degrees of difficulty. It feels like a lot to be going on. I haven't actually got very many adventures to play. I did buy the newly released adventure packs for the Mirkwood cycle, whatever it's called. So they're kind of like 4 and 5. So you've got the 3 adventures in the core set and then adventures 4 and 5. I can't remember what it's called, something in Mirkwood. I should have brought it out with me, but I didn't. So yeah, so I've got that. So that's where I'm reflecting. I've got on not exactly pre-order, but an understanding with my friend at Willen Games, who supplies me with all our goodies. He's on the lookout for when the new Angmar stuff comes out. So that's been announced. So I will be diving in there, and I did pick up, and I'm seeing my in-laws later this week. I did pick up on Facebook again, I'm not sure what that's called, the Mirkwood cycle, the one with the Hunt for Gollum and all that stuff in it. So I'm looking forward to cracking on with that. I've been playing with my son. We have been doing the campaign. We're not very far in. We've only done the first two campaign things there. So we're literally up to the really hard one, the Escape from Dol Guldur. We haven't tried that yet. I may try that this week. But on my own, I've just been messing around with the Rohan guys, and with I would say lesser success. When the deck works well for me, it works really nicely, but often it goes disastrously wrong. And it got me thinking about the different ways in which you can play this game and why you might enjoy or not enjoy this game. So I've been playing true solo. I can't imagine trying to play 2 hands. It's bad enough trying to get the rules right with 1 hand, and I quite often forget stuff. So I've only been playing with 1 hand so far, except when obviously we're playing with my son, because he can take on that burden of remembering for 2 people. And I do feel that there's kind of like a couple of different ways to approach the game. So with the Rohan guys, I've been trying really hard to play to theme. I wanted to play with the Rohan. I wanted as many horses in there as possible. So I tried to build this deck which had all the mounts and everything about, you know, riding and all that kind of thing. But actually, it turned out not to be, with me playing it anyway, it turned out not to be that strong. So I had to water it down a little bit. So, but I do really like that you can kind of pick a theme, even with these sort of stuff decks. Obviously, they are themed, but you can pick a theme and you can try and keep your players thematic as possible and conquer these things in Middle Earth. I suppose you could argue that the Riders of Rohan charging through Mirkwood isn't that thematic. They get knocked off their horses for a start, but I like that. But then there's also this kind of do you enjoy winning? Because I think if you enjoy winning, then this game might not be for you. And what I mean by that is sometimes it's nice to sit down. Like when we went to an escape room this weekend. Now I didn't know before we went, but it became pretty clear that we were definitely going to pass. We were definitely going to succeed. It wasn't that difficult, but it was challenging enough. It was for the whole family, so we had a range of children. It was challenging enough for everybody to get something out of it. But I never doubted that we would get through to the end. Now I know obviously there will be really hard escape rooms out there, but that, for what I wanted at that time, was perfect. It gave me a challenge, it was good fun, but the result was never in any doubt. I don't feel like the Lord of the Rings card game is like that. I guess you might get to a point when you're so experienced that you just know that you're going to pass an adventure. So if you're the sort of person who likes a bit of a puzzle but knows you're going to solve it at the end, perhaps this game isn't good for you. Where this game is brilliant, I think, is if you do like a puzzle and you want to sit down and work it out. I have really quite enjoyed working on my Rohan deck, trying to hone it. I don't get a lot of time. That is the only problem with that. Sometimes, and particularly when I had younger children, it would have really frustrated me because I would have actually just wanted to sit down and play and have, okay, not guaranteed success, but know that if I play my cards right, good game, I would be able to pretty much do it. You know, still mentally challenging, but I would get through. I think I wouldn't have. In fact, I did have this game 8 years ago. I bought the little core books, and it was too hard. I didn't have time. I couldn't justify to myself or to my family, I suppose, sitting down and playing for an hour and then ending in failure and going, okay, I need to take 3 cards out of that deck and start it again. And I couldn't justify that to myself. Now I feel a little bit more like I can more, because I have been practicing with the Anduin deck against the Anduin scenario with greater or lesser success. But that's definitely there. This is a puzzle game, really, and quite a lot of that puzzle solving could be considered to be before you get down to the nitty-gritty. I quite like that at the moment where I'm at. I'm not sure, for example, I know that the Escape from Dol Guldur is really good. I'm not sure really hard. I'm not sure I'm going to bother with that with solo, because I just don't think it's possible, and I'm not sure I want to go through the experience of bashing my head against that brick wall. I might try it once or twice just to see how bad it is. I have tried it once with my son, and it was pretty bad. And then maybe as we read the Nazgul card wrong, and then that would just always something just stopped. So I'm not sure that I'll be escaping from Dol Guldur anytime soon. I keep doing this. Wax on. So when you're playing this game, you are going to make mistakes and you are going to fail, which raises an interesting question, perhaps for you guys if you've watched this far. I'm not going to edit that video where I failed the River down Anduin, partly because I think it's a very basic question. There's lots of good content out there that shows you how to do it. But I kind of wonder is there any mileage for showing content for when you fail? I don't know. Let me know what you think. I'm not sure about that. I feel like it's a bit odd to cut a solo video that has, here's me stuffing up. But maybe that content is of value, and obviously if you would like to see that kind of thing, or you don't really mind whether I pass or fail, then that is good for me, because in some ways I get content out of it anyway. If I've done, but that was, from a content perspective, an hour wasted. It wasn't an hour wasted from a gaming perspective, because I realised again the limitations of the deck. And that is something, so it's a constantly iterative process, I think, this deck building, and I do know that different adventures require different things in the deck, so you almost have to rebuild the deck for different scenarios, which I think is a good thing. I think it would be, although it might be fun on one level to build a sort of winner takes all-conquering deck, and maybe they do exist if you've got a bigger card pool, but it is more fun to kind of have to think about what you've got to do to overcome the obstacles that are put in front of you. And because I was using the Rohan deck, I happened to notice that Cardboard of the Rings, they've done a couple of videos, or a video for each of the new starter decks, and I noticed that their Rohan one came out. So I had a quick look at it, and I immediately found out something I've been playing wrong, something I had done. This is kind of the problem with playing with solo sometimes. I had not misread something, I've just played something a little bit wrong, and actually to my detriment. And then because you don't notice it, you then play it again and you play it again and you kind of reinforce it, and you don't necessarily go back and read the card text. So I think watching other content is really useful. I mean, obviously Cardboard of the Rings are kind of top of the game at that, and it was an interesting video as well, and it made me think a little bit more about the deck building process, about the cover here. Actually, I didn't want to go down the route he went down. I didn't want to just copy him and then make a video exactly silly. So I still tried something different, but maybe taking some of the elements of what he had mentioned in the game, basically to try and improve my understanding of how to build decks and how to win against the game. Somebody left a lovely comment on one of my videos about sort of slowly building the board state, not questing too hard, which I still haven't worked out yet how that works. In my case, and this may be because I can't control the board, in my case I always feel like the more cards I'm turning over from the encounter deck, the worse it's going to get, and therefore I want to power through and quest as hard as I can. Maybe that's a virtue of the Rohan deck. You don't tend to get cards in play for very long when you do that, using that deck, so maybe that's partly why. But at the moment I don't feel like I can calmly build up a board state which enables me to win, so perhaps I'm doing something wrong there. That's kind of it. That's kind of all I wanted to say. A little update on where I'm at. I'm really loving the game. This has really reinvigorated a love of Lord of the Rings in me again, which is really great. I haven't gone back to the book yet, but I'm hoping to, though my reading schedule is rammed, because I do book reviews on the side as well, and I've got lots of new stuff to read, but I'd love to go back to reading Lord of the Rings. But the card art is fantastic. I'm enjoying solving the puddles. I'm enjoying solving the puzzles. I actually have really enjoyed going down the Anduin several times and knowing the hill troll's coming and knowing that I've got a plan to beat him. That has been quite a nice feeling. So still very inexperienced, still learning, still watching what other guys out there are doing to learn how to improve my gameplay and improve my deck building. Yeah, so that is a month into Lord of the Rings. I say it is a challenge. It can sometimes feel like you're wasting time, especially if you don't have a lot of time. But it's the depth of the game and how much love it has for the Lord of the Rings, and how much kind of fun it is when you get to do a big attack, or even a big quest is really nice, or defeat that goddamn hill troll is really rewarding. And I have to say, the best thing about it really for me is that I can say to my son, do you fancy a game of this? And he will normally turn around and say yes, rather than oh no. So that's really nice. So that's where I'm at. It's probably a far too long a video for my 1 month progress. I don't know how often I'll do these videos. It probably depends on how often I am successful with trying to record actual game videos. But I've got one idea for another little video like this that I will do in the next couple of weeks. But until then, hopefully next time you see me, I'll have the cards on the table. I haven't failed again. And but anyway, so I hope you enjoyed it, and do like and subscribe for more content, and do check out other stuff we've got on Age of Sigmar. It's good to have you on board, and we'll see you soon. Bye.